Fourscore and 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation conceived in liberty, and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation, or any nation, so conceived and so dedicated, can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come up to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But, in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here, have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little know, nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion, that we are highly resolved that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from this earth.
After delivery of the speech, public opinion of the war changed greatly.
After the speech was given, many people in the audience were very silent because some people didn't know whether or not he was finished, and others were just shocked by the powerful delivery of the speech and the meaning behind it.
After 23,000 Union casualties at the Battle of Gettysburg, the speech was greatly needed in order for the public and the soldiers of the Union in order to realize just what they were fighting for. In Lincoln's words, he'd said that the war was for a new birth of freedom.
The Gettysburg Address, in a sense, fought the Constitution. It argued that African Americans were not property and were equal to everyone else.
Southern plantation owners argued that this idea was against their constitutional right to property.
So what do you think about Abraham Lincoln?
He's the 16th president. He's the strongest. He gave me 16 books, and he's the strongest president.
Yeah? After the assassination of Abraham Lincoln in 1865, the Senator of Massachusetts, Charles Sumner, was quoted saying, "That speech, uttered at the field of Gettysburg, and now sanctified by the martyrdom of its author, is a monumental act. In the modesty of his nature, he said, the world will little note, nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. He was mistaken. The world at once noted what he said, and will never cease to remember it."
Alright, go. 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation conceived in liberty, and dedicated. No! That's how we did it! It's a 2-minute speech! Alright. I'm ready. Alright. 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition of my mixtape, because that speech was so bomb. People were silent after they heard my track. They were like, man, I don't even know what to say after this. I'm about to be so famous. They call me Big Abe. You know, like Big Sean, he ain't good, but Big Abe, I'm honest. I spit them bars. Go.
The Gettysburg Address.
Go.
The Gettysburg Address, in a sense, fought the Constitution. The Gettysburg Address. The Gettysburg Address, in a sense. The Gettysburg Address, in a sense, fought the Constitution. It argued that African Americans were not proper and
Go.
The Gettysburg. Can't breathe.